And welcome to the channel where I talk to you about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First, the series where I talk about new number ones, new story arcs, new creative teams, new character debuts, and such on the following week. So, this is for books that release on the 24th and 25th of October, and we got a lot of books to talk about. So, let's jump right in. So the first book I'm going to talk about is not a number one issue, but it is a character debut. This is the Flash number two, Legacy 802, but it is debuting the brand new character, the Stillness. So for all you key issue fans and people that like to collect first appearances of characters, this is one to watch for. Uh, so yeah, we all enjoyed the first issue of this new run. It's definitely a different vibe from the previous couple. So, yeah, check it out. Flash number two, especially to check out this new character, the Stillness. Next up, we've got Hallows Eve, the Big Night number one. This is following on that mini series that came out recently. Um, this is a character that she's the girlfriend, the love interest of Ben Riley. If you're not familiar with who she is, and she got these masks and that whole plot of that crossover that we all like to forget. Was it Dark Web or something like that? But yeah, so this story takes place on Halloween. I decided not to save this for the Halloween special one because I want everybody to be aware of this because I thought the first, like I said, the miniseries was really fun. Mike and I both like this. This is written by Erica Schultz, whose name you've probably been hearing a lot these days. Definitely making waves throughout all of comicdom, as it were, doing some great work. So this takes place on Halloween, actually, at Empire State University, with a Halloween party going on that doesn't go to plan, and Hallows Eve, who was once powerless and once a victim, is there to use her abilities. So could be. I think it's going to be a fun story. So I'm giving this one a 2. Next up, we have Amazon's Attack number one. This is following everything that's been going on in Wonder Woman. The Amazons are persona non grata these days, and they're some of them are getting killed. Uh, it's all kinds of craziness going on with the Amazons and everything. So now this is kind of picking up with that as the Amazons attack, apparently, uh, and they are fighting a world that no longer want. Or they're fighting for a world that no longer wants them, and we'll see what happens. We've got Wonder Girl back. We've got Faruka, Nubia, and Mary Marvel. So this is all your favorite characters if you've been following the Wonder Woman stuff that's been going on for the past little while here. I love Yara Flor, so anytime Yara and Mary Marvel as well are in something, I'm going to check it out. So you know, I'm curious to see where this one goes, but I'm also a little hesitant. I've been kind of burned by some Wonder Woman stuff in the past, but I'm hoping because of the characters involved and the I don't know. I got hopes for this one, so I'm going to give this one a 2 as well, which means I think it could be good. Next up is a brand new series from Image Comics. This is by Jerry Duggan. So if you're a fan of Jerry Duggan's work, you'll probably check this one out. It sounded like a fun concept. It's they describe it as Evil Dead meets Time Bandits. So it's a comedy horror, and it just sounds kind of wacky. You know, Jerry Duggan does some wacky stuff from time to time. But it's this guitar tech named Hector Smalley who's been working for the huge rock band, and the whole band gets killed in a plane crash, and it's just the beginning of all his bad times. So, uh, yeah, it starts off with trauma and tragedy, and starts this chain reaction of really bad stuff happening to this dude. So if you like those kind of stories where the hero of the story is working from underneath the whole time and it's a little comedic, then you're going to want to check this one out. Paladin of Axes number one, which I am also giving a 2. I think it could be good. So I've got faith in Jerry Duggan. Then we have Alan Scott, the Green Lantern number one. This is a kind of a flashback tale. It is taking place in the early days of the Green Lantern, and he's hiding this secret, which presumably is this sexuality that has kind of been at the forefront of the character for the past few years. And it's a, as it says, it's a story about love, fear, and most of all courage. And also a Red Lantern interacts with Alan Scott, so something I don't think that we've like seen from his past, at least. Is it a Red Lantern that's like different from the Red Lanterns that we know from Blackest Night and all and beyond, or I don't know. We'll have to see how this one goes. But yeah, I I don't know. I think it could be I think it'll be solid. Uh, the last few things I've read with Alan Scott have been really good. So, but at the same time, I'm not sure. So I'm going to give this one a 3, uh, hoping it'll be good. So there you go. Then we have the latest from the Dark Spaces universe from Scott Snyder. This is Dark Spaces Dungeon #1. The concept of this one sounded pretty cool to me. Um, it's this family that lives out into this wooded area in New Hampshire, and they come across this mysterious dungeon that has this. I don't know if it's like it's just a message that's there. I don't know if it's like spray painted or whatever. On the cover, it shows it like on signs and stuff that says "Tell no one." So this dude has to like protect his family, and some crazy stuff is obviously going to happen, or it's psychological. I'm not sure. It does mention paranoia here, so I'm kind of thinking it's more psychological kind of thing. So we'll see what happens with it. It's an interesting universe that Scott Snyder is building with these dark spaces stuff. I read, I think it was it Good Deeds? Was it whichever the first one was with the firefighters? I read that one. That was decent. I didn't get around to reading the Hollywood one yet, but I really am curious if these things are just taking place in this world, or if somehow, sometime, these things are going to tie together in some way. So it'll be interesting to see how that all eventually plays out, if it does. But these are kind of hit and miss. They're targeting different like genres and stuff. So it really depends on your taste. This one seems more up my alley, but I don't know. So I'm going to give this one a 3. I'm hoping it'll be good. Okay, now we have a new series from Boom Studios. This is Slow Burn #1. This it's definitely an interesting concept where it's after this bank robbery goes wrong, this junkie, their partner who's dying, and this old dementia-ridden man come across this town in Pennsylvania that's like an old mining town that's kind of a ghost town. It's abandoned and everything, but there's something that's from the 60s that's still kind of burning. So I don't know if it's like gonna have the supernatural bent to it, or if it's just a crime noir kind of story. I really don't know. I'm curious about it though, because Boom does some really interesting stuff. Yeah, I think it's by Ollie Masters, who's done some crime stuff before, so obviously it's gonna have that crime theme to it. But it seems like maybe there's something supernatural going on here. I don't know. It sounded interesting. So I definitely wanted to include it on the list, but I'm still going to give it a 3 because I don't know much about it, or kind of what vein the story is going to be in. So check that one out if that sounds interesting to you, though. Okay, now we're getting into the shout outs portion of the show. Every once in a while, I like to shout out books that are coming out from people that I know or I've interacted with, or I just want to give a little love to. So this is Dying Days #1 from Matt Kund. Who I have, I don't know, I've interacted with a few times. We're both in the Comics Launch course, and I've been a guest on his podcast, myself and my friend Chris, when we were promoting a book a couple of years ago. He's a good guy. He's doing a lot of stuff, a lot of varied stuff across genres. This one is published by Red 5, and it is coming out next week as well. It's the ultimate race against time. When the aging starts, people are aging at a rapid rate. Can the cause and solution be found before it's too late? Really cool concept. So check that out if that sounds cool to you. And continuing with the shout outs, we have Drive Like Hell #1 from Dark Horse. This is by Rich Dewick and Alex Cormack, who are two creators that have done a lot of Comics Tribe stuff. So I'm familiar with their work from there. Also, Rich, I believe he did Gutter Magic. He's done Sea of Sorrows for IDW. Alex Cormack's been doing some stuff at IDW and Dark Horse recently, and he's done a cover for me. So I definitely want to give a shout out to these guys. They're great guys and very talented creators. But also, it's just a cool concept. This dude had a maid. He had one last job, and then he was headed out. Everything goes wrong. And now he's in a battle of otherworldly proportions. And if he wants to get out of Dodge with the skin intact, he's got to drive like hell. So it sounds like this, high octane, fast paced kind of thing where this dude is just basically driving for his life. So, and it's going to have this like gritty horror-esque kind of art to it because that's kind of Alex's style. It's a really good fit. So I'm glad Dark Horse is putting stuff like this out now. So definitely wanted to give a shout out to Rich and Alex. And then the final shout out of this episode is for Empath #1 from Black Box Comics. An estranged son from a wealthy family finds his place in a chaotic city filled with vagabonds and wayward individuals, but as much as his family is in his past, his reasons for leaving them behind drives his everyday choices and fuels not only his desire to help others, but also his uncanny and empowered empathic abilities to change things for the better. But the city's ills may prove too great for him as both an emotional and physical battle awaits. I couldn't figure out a way to condense that into like a paraphrase version of that. But anyway, this is by Brian Hawkins and art by Deborah Carita. I've known Brian for a few years. We've crossed paths when he was writing a book that I was lettering. I'm actually designing a logo for him right now. And I've done some work with him in the past, but his is a name that you're going to hear about a lot. He does a lot of projects for a lot of publishers. His name is on the rise. He's solid work, coming out with some horror stuff very soon. So keep an eye out for Brian Hawkins. So definitely want to shout him out with this new book, Empath. All right, now we're going to get into the rest of my my rated picks for this week. So this is the top picks part of the show. So let's get on with it with Captain Marvel issue #1, highest, furthest, fastest. A brand new creative team, brand new design, brand new outfit for Carol. And we'll see how this one goes. With Captain Marvel, it's like I've been such a fan of Captain Marvel for so many years now. And I'm glad that the character is getting her due now. But at the same time, it's like, is this series going to hit all the right notes? Or, is it going to be for me? And you never know with those kind of things. But I have high hopes for Carol always. So I'm going to give this one a 2. I think it could be good, but I'm just not sure if it's there yet. So I won't know until I read that first issue. So whether this one is going to be a key issue or not, I don't know. I don't know if there's any new characters or anything like that. But yeah, somebody is harnessing the energy of the sun. So obviously that's kind of Carol's thing. I don't know. There's not a whole lot about this new run yet. I think they're keeping it kind of low key under wraps. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. That's Captain Marvel issue #1. Then we have the first release after their anthology kind of teaser from Distillery. This is Gone #1. This is by Jock, whose work you may know from Marvel and DC stuff. Jock is a popular creator. So this is a sci-fi story. So if you're not into sci-fi, you might not like this, but this sounded like a cool thing for me. It compares it to it says it's for fans of Andor and Hunger Games. I've not seen Andor. This is the Star Wars series yet, but I have seen Hunger Games. All of them. I love Hunger Games. I think it's fantastic. So sounds up my alley. It's about this 13-year-old who kind of stows away on this kind of luxury cruiser liner, whatever, to escape their humdrum life in hopes for a better one. But then they kind of get branded as a saboteur because they're a stowaway, and just kind of things go wrong from there. It's heavy action, sci-fi, tropes everywhere. Sci-fi adventure as this story has betrayal, and this character, this 13-year-old girl, finds her true allies and discovers themselves, I think, along the way. And that's kind of the story of Gone. So um, yeah, sounds exciting. But I am going to give this one a 2 because I think it could be good. I just don't know. I haven't seen any preview art from it. I don't know anything beyond this description about it. But it sounds really cool. It sounds up my alley. So hopefully it'll be good. And then finally, the book that I'm most looking forward to. Um, this is Edenwood #1. This is from Tony S. Daniel. And this is getting the only one on the list this week. Big fan of Tony S. Daniel's artwork. What little I've read that Tony S. Daniel has written, I've enjoyed as well. And this just has all kinds of things that I love. It's a period piece. It's multiversal. It's supernatural. It just sounds cool, right? And it's gonna have gorgeous art. So I'm really excited about this one. There's been this multiversal battle between demons and witches for eons, uh, across the multiverse, across time periods and everything. And this character who is I think it's a demon hunter who has to gather this elite team of other demon hunters to take back control of this land that is controlled by a bunch of demons. So he's got to assemble this team of demon hunters going all the way back to the 1700s to combat this threat. And it sounds like this supernatural, political, just action heavy romp that just sounds really cool to me. So hopefully it will live up to all expectations. And yeah, I think it's going to be really good though. So we'll see. Then I do have a few honorable mentions this week. Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood #1, the latest in the Black, White, and Blood line of books. I've never been a Marvel Zombies fan, just never got into it for whatever reason. But if you are, and if you've been enjoying these Black, White, and Blood books, definitely check this one out. It calls it an all new era of Marvel Zombies. So yeah, and it's the right time of year for it. Garth Ennis is on this, so if you're a Garth Ennis fan, you'll definitely want to check that out as well. Then there's Giant Robot Hellboy #1. I've read very few Hellboy books, but I did enjoy those Ron Perlman movies. Hellboy is kidnapped in this one. This is the first issue of a 3-issue miniseries of Mike Mignola and Ferran. Is it Ferran? Duncan Progretto. I don't know where I got Ferran from, but Duncan Progretto. Yeah, so this is a 3-issue miniseries where Hellboy is kidnapped and hooked up to this giant mecha. So it's I don't know, the Iron Giant meets Hellboy. That sounds up your alley. Definitely check this one out. And then finally, this isn't really a first issue, but it is the first 0.5 for Radiant Black and the Massiverse. It's interesting. I don't think anybody knew this was even happening. I happened to catch it as I was going through the list one more time to make sure I didn't miss any new books. But this is 26.5, which is coming out at the same time as 26. So it's like this bonus issue that is coming out, and I wanted to mention it so nobody missed it. That you didn't think it was just like a different cover or whatever. So make sure you pay attention to this and pick up Radiant Black 26.5 that is also coming out, that continues the story that starts in issue 26. I didn't know either. So interesting. Doing some surprise stuff on us. So definitely check that out. And then I also want to mention a few books that I had mentioned in previous episodes of the show that I guess they got delayed. But Leaded Gasoline #1, The Prism #1, and The Wrong Earth, We Could Be Heroes #1 are all supposed to come out next week instead of the previous weeks that they were previously solicited for. So if those had sounded interesting to you from past videos, keep an eye out for them unless they get delayed again. But according to the list that I'm looking at, they're supposed to come out on October 25th. So that's going to do it for this episode of Friday First, though. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you are continuing to like this series and finding new titles that maybe you didn't know about to check out. So if you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and If you want to get even more content from me, hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of the content on this channel. You can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, and check out onlygoodcomics.com. That will take you right back to this YouTube channel for even more content from me. So until next time, thanks for watching. Keep reading those comics and join me next time as we talk about only good comics. Take care. Bye.